Sara, Allison, how the hell are you guys?
Hi. I can't believe I forgot to put a flannel shirt on for this. I'm pissed off at myself.
I thought the same thing. And I was like, well, Sarah's going to do that. I don't want to like totally take away her grunge vibes, because you've really like kind of narrowed in on the grunge vibes lately.
It's a personality at this point.
Hey, you guys want to introduce yourselves? We could start with Sara and then we'll go to Allison.
Yes, sure. I'm Sara Walsh, 90s kid, music lover, feminist, sometimes comedian, originally from Bakersfield, although that's not how I know Jesse.
Somehow.
Yes.
All right, Allison, how about you?
I'm Allison, soon to be Allison Baker Merritt. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to deal with the naming convention. I think it's just going to be Merritt. I don't know. We're not sure. And by we, I mean I'm not sure. I'm a copywriter by day, like Sara, sometimes comedian by night. Not lately, really, but I still identify as a comedian, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I'm a new dog mom.
Yes.
Which is my personality now.
How many months have you been a dog mom now? It's super new.
Yeah, we got her on January 31st. Wow. So I'm not going to do the math, but it's been a minute, but feels like a lifetime.
You're supposed to know to the week how old your baby is.
She is 20. Hold on. I think she's 22 weeks.
I get so excited every time one of my friends becomes a new dog parent because I'm like, yes, their Instagram is about to be lit, and you have not let us down. You have not let us down.
That's
true. Obsessive dog mom reporting for duty.
Yes. Yeah. Good job. So I met you guys at the Sacramento Comedy Spot. You guys were already like established improvisers. Like you guys were the cool kids, and I always thought I was always a huge fan of both of you, but then like I ended up in like I think Improv 301 with both of you, and you guys were not only amazing improvisers, you guys are the nicest people ever. You're like, no,
don't offend me like that.
No one usually describes us that way, so this is exciting.
You guys were always so nice to me. And then Allison and we took musical improv together, right?
We did. That was so fun.
Yeah. And I want to fanboy out a little bit on Allison right now, but what I want to say is that Allison, like you were already like in Lady Business and you were already like in Herald. And like every time I saw you on stage, like you were great, right? Everyone had an off night every once in a while, right? But then like when we took musical improv together, like that shit was hard, And I remember like watching you like not be comfortable, like you like struggle, like it was hard for everybody. And then like I don't know how many months later, you're in You the Musical, and like to watch you go from like this shit is hard, I'm struggling, oh my God, to like You the Musical. And I think I went to like one or two You the Musical rehearsals when you were just like brand new to it. And I remember like you would be like so frustrated, and then just to watch you go and do it, and now you're doing it. Awesome. It was so much fun to watch.
Thank you for saying that. It still is hard. Like it's still every time, I mean, it's been a year, but every time I do that show, I'm shitting bricks because it's really hard and it doesn't get easier. And I'm still, some nights I'm like, that was not great on my part, but that's part of what comedy and improv is like sucking sometimes and still doing it anyway.
Improv versus comedy, like improv, you've got a whole team out there that's not going to let you fail, right?
Yeah.
Comedy, there's a whole row of comics in the background waiting for you to fail. Like just,
yes.
So you make a bad choice as an improviser, like 5 people are ready to like incorporate that choice and make it something good. And like you make a bad choice as a comic and it's crickets, Yes. So,
and that's why I feel so spoiled to have worked with the improvisers that I've worked with, because even though there are lots of times where I am just coming up with just the worst, the worst material, like there's always someone to like make that into a gem. And sometimes I hope that I do the same thing.
I was going to say that. Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
Oh, I was gonna say that the reason I always threw a hissy fit when they moved us around, Allison, and would separate us is because I got like, you were like my emotional support human on stage. Like as long as Allison's next to me, I feel comfortable because I knew you would always be there to like write the course when I took us off on something dumb.
And same thing. Like that's why I think like we work well together, because like if I'm pitching you something, you're gonna yes and it, absolutely. And Jesse, I feel the same way about you. Like I really love working with you too, and it was so fun doing the musical improv because you were like all into it, and I love that. That's what it takes. That's what it takes, is to like actually enjoy it. That's like half it.
Yeah, we're talking. I met with Janae Lovering the other day, and we're talking about like the next steps for telenovela. And she said, you know, we need to start singing some songs on stage and start going for it. And like we should do it. So we're looking forward to all of that. But we're not here to talk about improv. We're here to talk about music. And you know, a long time ago when I was just doing regular interviewing comics on this podcast, Sarah reached out to me and she's like, "Can I invite myself onto your show?" And I was like, "Hell yes." But that's when like I was recording in my living room, and she was like, "Well, maybe one of these days when I'm in Sacramento." And even back then I said, "Well, if you're going to be on the podcast, you got to bring Allison with you." And
my emotional support human.
Yeah. And we're like, yeah, it's going to happen, but we didn't know how. And then when I switched over and I started doing these top fives, because like, I mean, how many comics can you interview and listen to them talk about their podcasts? Come on.
Yeah.
It's just painful. I started doing these top fives, and like, I was like, oh, I have an angle now for Sarah. And I reached out to Sarah and I told her, I was like, "Do you think Allison can hang?" And she was like, "I don't know. We're going to find out."
Yeah, we don't know.
And when she said in, I was like, hell yes. And we're doing the top 5 women in rock of the 90s, basically what I like to call the Lilith era. Even though like the Lilith Fair didn't start until like 97, 98, 99, it was like that whole wave leading up to that. And I always think these lists are going to be easy. Let me tell you, I had some like harsh words were spoken to me over the course of this week when I was like giving some of my really close friends what I thought my list was going to be, and they'd be like, "I can't believe you're leaving so-and-so off." And I'm like, doesn't mean anything to me. And they're like, "Oh, you're an idiot." And I was like, well, yeah.
That's why you have 3 people on. So like, hopefully we'll all together create one mega list.
Yeah. And then I was telling Sarah in the convo before this that I posted on my Facebook, and I posted in this record group that I'm in, asking for the top 5s. The Facebook post got like 49 comments, and the record group also got like 49 comments of just like all of these great artists. And I can't wait to hear what we narrow it down to. I finally just went with basically my emotion, like my heart. Like I was like, I didn't give a darn about like the tours or the charts or the numbers. I was just like, these are the albums that I absolutely love and hold on to and still listen to. So I guess we're ready to.
It's from the heart.
Yeah, mine's from the heart too. Very nostalgia based.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, let's kick it off with number 5, and let's just go alphabetical order. All right, let's go, Allison.
Okay.
What's your number 5?
Okay, I do have an admission before I start my list. In the 90s, I was like very into the religious scene because, you know, you do what your family does. So I was in the religious scene. And so 90s music almost entirely evaded me until recently. Okay. Because I was listening to, this is very niche and no one's going to know what I'm talking about, Michael W. Smith, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and what's that?
You said Jars of Clay?
Jars of Clay. Sarah, how do you know about this?
Jars of Clay, DC Talk.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I feel less alone. But my number 5 pick is Amy Grant.
Oh.
Okay. It's not a popular choice. I will admit that, but I have to honor my roots because she she did go mainstream for Baby Baby and a few other songs, and that one Christmas song that's about Mary for some reason. She well, we call it secular in the biz, in the niche world of evangelicals. But you know, she's my number 5.
Yeah, Amy Grant's, that was Hearts in Motion.
Yes, yes, yes.
With every heartbeat. I loved Baby Baby.
Great pick.
Yeah, such
I think she got a divorce, which like made everyone mad at her.
Not me.
Yeah, me neither. I don't care. You do you. Amy.
Yeah. All right, Amy Grant.
Love it.
Sarah, what do you have?
So the first album, like literally album name that I thought of when you said albums, was Tuesday Night Music Club by Sheryl Crow, which came out in 1993. I was 10 years old. And it's a badass album. There's like not one song that's not great. And I remember my mom and I used to listen to it, and I have a 10-year-old right now who thinks I'm cool still, but almost not. So,
You know,
I love that.
That album just like blew up. But what was crazy about that record is that like the single, All I Want to Do, was like this fun, catchy pop song, and then you listen to the album and it's just like full of heartbreak and anger. I agree. And yeah.
Ben and I, our first dance was to a Sheryl Crow song called I Shall Believe. Do you know that song?
Yeah, it's on the Tuesday Night Music Club album.
Okay. The only reason we knew about it is because we watched Haunting of Hill House, the Blythe Manor one. And it was like we were really digging deep because our song is Careless Whisper. And we were like, we can't dance to that song at our wedding. It's about cheating. So instead, we sang a song that's just only a little bit about cheating. We sang a song. We sang it. That would be really amazing. Funny. Anyway, so that's a deep cut for me.
All right. Okay. My number 5, and I should have put it like really this should be higher on my list, but I went ahead and was like, okay, this is totally me. This is all me. The first time I heard this artist, I was in a Taco Bell, and they were because Taco Bell had this compilation CD called Do Something. What was it called? Yeah, it was called Do Something. It had all these artists, and they were playing it in the Taco Bell, and that was the first time I heard Sarah Mclaughlin. And so Sarah Mclachlan's Fumbling Towards Ecstasy. This is probably my most listened to record, CD, iTunes of all time. Like I still listen to it. It's like, I hate to say like, I hate saying cliche things like beautifully haunting, but it really is. It's just like not like one happy song on the whole album, which is about ice cream, and like that makes everyone happy. And every other song on this album is about like, why don't you stay? You know, the song Hold On is about someone dying of AIDS. It's so tragic, and but it's like, I don't know, it's so hopeful at the same time. But it's absolutely one of my favorite albums of all time. And
my feedback on this, Jesse, is that it's so low on your list.
Yeah, I was thinking that Sarah Mclaughlin.
I thought I was like, this is only me. I really sometimes think like I'm the only one that likes this album. It's like you mentioned Sarah Mclaughlin, and people are like, yes, but they all say Surfacing. They all say the album after this one, and so
I need to know what year that came out.
That came out
myself.
1993.
Yeah, okay, I was 10.
93, yep. And I heard they were playing Possession in Taco Bell, and I got my 2 chalupas and I went straight to the record store.
I love that. That's like where we hear music. Like we had to be somewhere. We couldn't just be like on our computer. We had to like hear it in the wild.
That's so true.
Yeah,
actually.
It was Sarah. It was the Taco Bell way out.
I was gonna ask, by the way.
Off of 58, the Taco Bell on 50, like right by the 58 freeway.
Yeah.
And Weepatch Highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, way out there. Yeah. All right. Allison, you're number 4.
Okay, so this is a song. I mean, I've kind of gone like artist. I haven't done album because I think
Okay.
I just couldn't choose. But for me, my number 4 is Natalie Imbruglia, Torn.
Uh-huh.
And this kind of does tie into, again, my religious roots because I heard the song on the radio, and whenever it would play, my mom would change the channel because it talked about her lying broken and naked on the floor.
Uh-huh.
And like, that was a metaphor, Mom. Like, that was a metaphor, okay? She wasn't maybe literally lying, naked on the floor. Maybe she was. It's not up to us to decide, but I mean, I was probably like 15 when I heard that song. That's not true. I was younger than that. But this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with, you guys, as far as musical censorship. Hell yeah.
I just bought this maybe like 2 weeks ago because I've always loved Torn, and I couldn't remember whether or not the whole album was good. I think I just liked looking at the cover, but
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. And
Torn.
I bought it, and it's absolutely good. And that album made Sarah Aga Mohammadi's top 5.
Nice. I
She
saw
commented
that.
on those. Okay,
Nice.
so we're gonna call that one Natalie Imbruglia's Left of the Middle,
Yes.
because it got mentioned a lot in
did.
when I was asking for people's lists.
Oh, I scrolled through all the comments
Yeah.
because I
So
wanted
that's what we're gonna do with these, Allison. We're gonna take your song, your artist, and we're gonna narrow it down to the album that was in that era. So
Okay.
yeah, Cool in the Gang. Cool. There's no wrong answers here. No wrong answers. This is improv. Yes, and
Yeah.
Sarah, what do you got at number 4?
Okay, so number 4, it was 1995. I was 12 years old. It's Jewel, Pieces of You. I spent so many hours just playing this album on repeat in my room, being like, my parents don't understand me. And then as I was like thinking about it, I was like, that Christmas, they had bought me a CD player and the Stone Temple Pilots CD Purple. So I think they did actually understand me.
I love Jewel, and that was such a great record, and she's still around,
Do you remember her song being on the Razor, Intuition? That was like a song in an ad campaign for a razor called Intuition.
Wow, no, I don't
Like a hair razor or a razor scooter or a razor phone?
Oh, good question. This is the 90s after all.
the razor, the flip phone razor.
No, you guys, there are lots of razors, I guess. I need to be more clear. Like a straight razor that you shave your armpits with. Or like it was a fear.
I didn't know that. Which song was the theme
ads,
of the?
Those ads weren't sent to me.
No.
Yeah, you were not their target.
Those ads.
Intuition. Because the product was called Intuition.
Yeah.
It was like their later.
That's not on this album.
No, it was like, I think that was 2000s.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why I brought that up.
Take
me out of here.
All right, my number 4. Fucking love this CD. Still, this CD rocks. Last night I tried to list how many times I've seen this band live, and I stopped because it was too hard. But my number 4, released in 1995, the first Garbage album.
Yes.
Oh my god. Self-titled. Sarah, I saw them at the Kern County Fair in 1998.
Wow. I'm surprised they were playing the Kern County Fair in 1998.
Here's a great story. So I read an interview once, and they were interviewing. Okay, so first of all, saw them at the Kern County Fair. The following day, everyone that came in, I worked at the warehouse, the record store.
Mm-hmm.
The following day, all the cool kids were coming in saying, "Oh my God, we met Garbage after the show. We met Garbage after the show." Like 10 people were just like, "We met Garbage after the show." They were outside smoking cigarettes and talked to us. And so like a year later, I'm reading an interview with Shirley Manson, and they had just finished that tour. And they were like, "What's it like being on the road?" And she's like, "It's miserable." She's like, "It's horrible." She's like, every night you just you drive all night. In the morning, you go from your bus to the hotel, you sleep, you go from the hotel to the arena. The arena is just an endless cycle. She's all, the only saving grace was in the middle of the tour, we got to play outside in Bakersfield. And it was the first time we had seen outside in months. And we didn't want to go back to our hotel. We sat outside and smoked cigarettes and talked to the kids for hours after the show.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God. Because first of all, I thought they were all lying that they had met Garbage. But it turns out, yeah. And she mentioned it. And so Garbage, self-titled. I also saw them. I went to see, I mean, Smashing Pumpkins were great.
Mm-hmm.
But they were never like one of my favorite groups. But I went and saw Smashing Pumpkins just because Garbage was opening.
Good enough reason.
Yeah, and I think I saw Garbage open up for No Doubt at Centennial Gardens.
Uh-huh.
I think I saw that's in Bakersfield, Allison. Was it?
We're gonna have a
I'm nodding my head, but
Yeah, we gotta let Allison in on the Bakersfield references because
I got a reference coming up as well.
I think they're gonna happen. But that's my number 4. Allison.
I love that.
Allison,
Okay.
you're number 3.
Okay, so my number 3 was Sarah Mclaughlin. I think for me, Arms of an Angel, I was introduced to this song in an earnest way, as we all
Got
were.
Angel in it?
Yeah, it's been played at funerals earnestly for years, and only now has it become a meme. But I've been to like funerals where in the 90s, like this was like the song to play. Like, and we've all been through some tragedy, and also we've seen dogs suffering to the track of this music. I'm just saying it's versatile. Okay, and now it's kind of comedy gold because now it's part of the zeitgeist as sort of like a comically earnest song.
Yeah, I kind of have I have some kind of feelings about that because like, yeah, you're like, I freaking love this song, but like you mention it and you can't help but think of that poor commercial of the dogs.
It's a punchline.
Yeah. All right. So we're putting you down for Sarah Mclachlan, Surfacing. Her third, I think it's like her 3rd or 4th album, but it's really the one that just blew her up. And
it's the one we all know, the Adia and Building a Mystery, all those ones. Do you remember the Building a Mystery music video where it's just like her touching things that have light and like I don't know what it means, but she's just talking about there's just this, I don't know what it means. Do you guys know? It's just pretty to look at.
I don't know, but I know what it's like to be a beautiful fucked up man. So, Building a Mystery. Yes. Sarah, what do you got at number 3?
Number 3 is something that I did not appreciate until my elder age. So at the time, and allow me to go on a long story about Bakersfield. So at the time that this band was popular, although they still are popular, I was 10, 11, and my best friend and I, she loved this band, and I was like, they suck. And I think I was just an asshole. The album is Everybody Else Is Doing It, So Why Can't We by the Cranberries.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so good.
My best friend Carrie and I got into a fight outside the T-shirt outlet on White Lane and Ash because she was like, would you go see the Cranberries if you got free tickets? And I was like, no, I hate them so much. I would not even go to see this band if I got free tickets. Wow. And I think I hated the Cranberries because I was an asshole, because I wanted to argue with my best friend. Because then as I got older, I was like, what? Like, Dolores O'Riordan is the best, rest in peace. And every song is great. What was I thinking? So I picked Everybody Else Is Doing It, So Why Can't We? Although, because it was not actually of the time, I was not in love with the band at the time. I'm also adding No Need to Argue in there, because that was actually probably when we got in the fight. to be honest. That was 1994. So we were probably a little older, rode our bikes down to the t-shirt outlet.
A White Lady in Ash. I know exactly where that is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked it up on the map last night because I was like, is that t-shirt outlet still there? And it is.
Wow. And there was a food for less there.
There was a food for less. There was a Wiener Schnitzel. The fast trip was across the street.
Yeah. And then now I think there's a Smith's Bakery there where the fast strip is. But yeah, I listened to it this morning because I was
So
really
good.
torn as to which Cranberries I wanted to put on here, and I love all of the Cranberries, but everyone else is doing it. It has that song "Pretty."
Yeah.
I love that song. But she says so many great things on that album. So she says, "You have my heart, so don't hurt me." God dang, dude, the album is so it's so good. It's so good, and yeah, rest in peace, Dolores. That was so tragic because they were getting ready to tour, and I was like, I'm gonna go see them this time.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. Okay, my number 3. I was torn because.
Were you Natalie Imbruglia? Yeah.
No, not Natalie Imbruglia torn. Okay. I was torn because like I knew this artist, like I knew I wanted this artist, but did I want this artist with her band or did I want this artist solo? And I really had to think of like, what do I listen to more? But my number 3 is Natalie Merchant, Tiger Lily.
Ooh.
Oh my God. The first song, San Andreas Fault, is about California. Like I love songs about California. I know a lot of people like to hate on California now. A lot of people like to leave California and come back, you know?
Let them leave.
Yeah, but this album is so great. San Andreas Fault, Wonder, Beloved Wife, River, which is about River Phoenix. Is so great. But I didn't know if I wanted to do that one or if I wanted to do 10,000 Maniacs Unplugged. But I settled with Natalie Merchant, her first solo. Saw her on the Lilith Festival. And I saw her at the Fox, Sarah.
Damn.
I saw her at the Fox and at the Lilith Festival. Lilith Festival was 1998. Dude, you know how much tickets were for the Lilith Festival?
How much?
The good seats, because there was the cheap seats. There was only 2 price levels.
Yeah.
The cheap seats were $26,
damn,
and the good tickets were $52.50.
Those are the days.
That's what parking is now. You'd be lucky to park for $50 now. And
how do you guys feel about going back to concerts? When will you do that?
Anytime.
Literally anytime.
Yeah, because I think especially like open air venues and stuff, they can do so much with spacing.
Yeah.
I would probably pay, well, especially for my number 1, which we'll get to, or my number 2, I would pay hundreds of dollars, several hundreds of dollars to see them and be in my little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for it. Oh God, I hope I know who you're talking about, and I think we're going to talk about that. Okay.
We're going to talk about it.
But Allison, we're going to let you talk because we're getting there. We're already at our number 2s.
I know. So my number 2 is a diva. Years in Vegas. You may know her from the Titanic soundtrack and also like any easy listening soundtrack you've ever heard. Celine Dion.
Celine Dion?
Yay!
Chris asked me this morning why Celine Dion wasn't on my list. Spoiler alert, Celine Dion's not on my list. And so I'm glad she's on yours.
Yeah, I did feel like I personally took some of the more bizarre picks from the 90s that wouldn't get chosen, but I think deserve a little bit of flair. But I am curious to see what all of your other last choices are too, because maybe you hit a few of them too. But yes, I don't even have an album that I appreciate from her, but I remember the Titanic song being like a big part of my life.
Yeah.
We couldn't get away from it. It was just everywhere. And we sold so many copies of that. And then the album that she had right after that, I can't think of what that one's called, but it's like she was standing on the cover. Like, She had a white shirt.
Was it like in a white suit or something?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Her relationship with her manager husband was always like very curious to me. Like I wasn't sure if it was beautiful or creepy.
It was creepy. It was creepy.
I disagree, but you know.
Well,
I want to hear your thoughts, Sarah.
Because he started managing her when she was like
14 or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then it's creepy.
All right. Well, I don't want to go on the record as being. I'll just amend my position and say, yeah, that was creepy. But she was really broken up when he died.
Yeah. I know that part was really sad, I think. Yeah. Okay. But everyone has their own love story.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Sarah, what do you got at number 2?
Okay, at number 2, this is reaching that it's from the Lilith era, but so is Allison's whole list, so I feel good.
My whole list.
And this is the Dixie Chicks Fly from 1999. Oh my God. So if I said that I like burned Jewel Pieces of You into the ground, like I probably have the Dixie Chicks album still in like a binder with the sleeves, and I should go look for it and see just how scratched up it is, because it got played constantly. There are no bad songs on the entire album. I was 16 years old, and I should say, by the way, it's the Chicks, me Dixie Chicks.
Right.
So that's right. For that, even my daughter just knows them as the Chicks now, because they have a great album that came out last year. That was really. So yeah, Dixie Chicks Fly.
A really good friend of mine texted me her list. And in fact, I'll share her list right now. Alicia Uribe, who's been on the podcast a few times, sent me her list last night. And her list was Veruca Salt, Liz Phair, Sarah Mclaughlin, Lisa Loeb, No Doubt, and an honorable mention to Martina Mcbride, Wild Angels.
Yes.
And I told her, I was like, wow, props for the Martina Mcbride. I'm wondering if anyone will have Dixie Chicks.
Here we are.
It is I.
Yeah.
That album was really important to me too. Like my best friend and I would listen to that on like road trips with our families, and our families unfortunately knew the album too, because we wouldn't stop listening to it. I could sing every song on that album.
Now, how did your mother feel about murder in the case of Earl?
So, good question. Didn't have a problem with it. So their Venn diagram of what was appropriate and what wasn't is very confusing, and I still haven't figured it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever supposed to figure our parents out.
Right. Yeah, that's part of our job.
Yeah, like we just eventually deflect and try not to let our kids figure us out.
Yeah.
Kids, but anyway, that's the pattern I see. Like we stop trying to figure our parents out and then start trying to like, no, quit blaming me for everything. But okay, my number 2. Oh yeah, that's where we're at, right? Okay.
Yeah.
My number 2. The very first, I was driving out in the country between Arvin and Lamont, and I heard this song Sunday nights on Crab Radio. Lotus Felcher used to have like this really cool radio show, and he would play like all of the best new alternative music. Yeah. And I'll never forget the first time I heard You Ought to Know off of Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. Let me tell you that like women like heard You Ought to Know and were just like, this is my anthem. Guys heard You Ought to Know and got terrified and were like,
yes.
She's gonna kill us. Like,
yeah.
And I'm here to. She says in the song. She says, "You told me you'd hold me until you died, but you're still alive.
And I'm here to remind you."
Of the That's amazing. Gosh, but then the rest of the album. So like you buy the album and you're like, it's gonna be all these songs about like, but no, it's like all these songs of like, I don't even know what the name of the song is. Where she says, "Don't forget to take first place." All I really want, You Ought to Know, Perfect, Hand in My Pocket, Right Through You. Gosh.
Not a bad one on the album.
Bad song on the whole album. I saw her live 2 or 3 times, not as many times as I wish I would have.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'm going to see her this summer. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. She was
She's
supposed to
touring-
be on tour last year.
Touring
So
with Garbage and Liz Fair. So
Whoa.
wow.
I hope I get to see that. But yeah, Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill is my number 2. Oh shoot. Okay, so we're at our number 1s. So before that, I want to like just read some of the lists from all of the folks on that commented on like I said, I posted this on Facebook yesterday. It got 50 comments. And let's see, Damien Harmony, a local Sacramento comic, says Tori Amos, man, she was hauntingly beautiful. Alanis Morissette had such a sharp edge to her. Natalie Merchant was steady and comforting. Sarah Mclaughlin, this is a Sarah McLachlan's sweetness helped carry me through healthy tears. Dan Scott, we all know him.
Yeah.
There are plenty of LPs I like more, but Jules' Pieces of You feels like the poster child album of this era.
Yes.
Robert Berry, Fiona Apple for life. Jessica Roberts, local comic, also a great photographer. She lists Jewel, Pieces of You, Sean Colvin, A Few Small Repairs, Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. Here's one, Melissa Etheridge, Your Little Secret.
Oh, that's so good.
And Sarah McLachlan, Surfacing. My friend Mike Brewer and Jenna Laura just went at it with a bunch of Paula Cole is the takeaway from that list, but they went back and forth for like 12 replies. All right. Sarah, I always love Sarah. Sarah always has some good stuff. Sarah Aga Mohammadi. This topic gives me all the teen girl feels. Number 5, Lisa Loeb Tales. Number 4, Natalie Imbruglia, Left of the Middle. Not sure if she counts for that era. If she doesn't, then Joan Osborne. Sarah McLachlan, Surfacing. Jewel, Pieces of You. Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill is her number 1. Jason Casey, PJ Harvey, Dry, and Portishead. Also, Tuesday Night Music Club was pretty great.
Nice.
Mike LaRosa, Jagged Little Pill for life. And
You think he was born in the 90s?
Yeah, he's got great musical taste for a youth who was born in
That's
the
true.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah. He's great. I love having him on the podcast. He's gonna come back next month with Tina Jett, and we're doing top 5 Disney movies.
Nice. He and I sang, we did karaoke to November Rain, and they do not shorten the karaoke version. So Mike and I did the like 8-minute long karaoke too.
I have pictures of it on my phone still. They've come up in my memories.
Put that in your show notes.
That's right.
Did you guys have some also rans? Allison, did you have some that you almost made the list and you went back and forth?
Again, here with the bizarre additions, there was a band called Bewitched that had a song called C'est la vie. Like, say you will, say you won't, say you'll do, but I won't, don't. I don't know.
No,
Say
keep
you're
going.
true, say to me, c'est la vie. Anyway, it still takes up space in my head. There's an Instagram comedian personality called Just Rod who like brings up a lot of 90s and early 2000s songs, and that's one that like constantly comes up, and it just brings back some like pop. I mean, it's more of a pop. It's 90s, but it's pop for sure. So not exactly the alt vibe we're going for, which is why I'm here to really fuck things up.
yeah. Keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
Is that your only also ran?
I mean Spice Girls.
Oh.
I'm doing groups. My alts are girl bands.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. All right, Sarah, what did you have in your also rans?
So my alt list would be Tracy Chapman, New Beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tracy Chapman's best album was the 1988 self-titled album.
Yes.
Talking about a revolution.
Fast Car.
Yeah. So I put New Beginnings or New Beginning, I don't know which. new beginning. Because I think much like some of these other bands I've mentioned, I came to it later in life. I had Garbage, the one you had, Jesse, and Garbage version 2.0 on my list. No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom, as well as some Shania Twain and some Mariah Carey.
Oh, Shania Twain.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Oh,
Her. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Is this a foreshadowing?
She was.
I don't know.
I loved Shania Twain. And Bakersfield, you couldn't escape Shania Twain
No.
or such a big country town.
Yes.
Let's see. On my also rants, I really wanted to mention Hole, Live Through This, but I think I'm saving this album now for like an alternative podcast. And
Can I come back for that one?
This one is, I listened to this one this morning. Belly, they had that one hit song of Feed the Tree. They were huge.
Yeah.
And Fiona Apple, but it puts me in a mood, like, and it's not the best mood, and it's not ever a good mood, and it puts me in a mood, but it's so good, like it sounds so great, and it's like I don't think I've ever listened to it during the day. It's always like late at night. That's one of my also rants, and I didn't know 10,000 Maniacs Unplugged. God, this is such a great record. But I'm also like, I've been in love with Natalie Merchant since I don't know when. Like, she's great. She's divorced right now. I don't know.
She's free.
There's a chance.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think she lives in New York though. It's kind of.
Tag her in this video.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. I'll tag her in the video. All right. So keep saying nice things about me, ladies.
Yeah. Jesse is.
Natalie's great. We have so much in common.
He's hilarious. He's a devoted dog dad. He loves music. What more could you want? He put you on the top 5 list. Come on.
Top 5. All right. Okay, so let's do this. Allison, you threw us a hint. What's your number 1?
I did. Well, as we know, this artist has done loving things for the cheetah print. Shania Twain.
Yay.
Or just Shania if you're nasty. I'm thinking about That Don't Impress Me Much because that was, again, one of the first pop songs I was introduced to. I'm thinking about the music video where it was like a lookalike of Brad Pitt, I think. Was that the star that it was supposed to look like? A lot of cheetah, a lot of desert, a lot of attitude. And I'm here for it. I still love it. And also you got her ballads. Like she had everything. That's why I don't want to choose an album necessarily because she rocks steady. Yeah.
She was amazing. I don't want to try to take anything away from like how like the talent she had, like the singing voice, but she also had in her corner producer Mclachlan, who in the 80s produced Def Leppard, AC/DC. Like he knew how to produce this huge, loud arena rock sound. And when Shania came out with what is the name of that album that had all of those? Because the first album had like Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under?
Yeah, so that was
what made you say that. But then the album after that was just exploded.
Oh, it's Come On Over. So then The Woman in Me was the boots. Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under?
Okay, so come on over. Yeah. All right. That album was just packaged for the arena. It was so ready to go out on tour, and she absolutely did that. She worked her butt off, but like it was like the perfect combination of her talent and the great genius production in the studio. And yeah, she was amazing.
Then he cheated on her with her best friend.
That's right. And then she dated the guy. She married her husband. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Shania also transcended the country genre. She was, one of the first, like Dixie Chicks they were all country artists, but they really slammed into the pop scene, which is why I know about them, because I was not really into country growing up.
Yeah. Well,
sorry.
No, we grew up in Bakersfield. Like
you can't escape it.
You can't escape country. You can't.
I'm a city gal.
I call myself Mexican Okie.
I love that.
Because like, I put tapatio sauce on my biscuits and gravy. I have a lowrider with the George Strait mural. It's just like you just can't escape it. It's just like it's great. It's Mexican Okie. It's Bakersfield. Sarah, what do you? Man, hold on. I don't know. I don't know what your number one is. Like I like to think that I know, but you could blow me away.
I mean, I feel like I talk about this artist constantly today.
I think we've talked about this artist. I think I ought to know what your number one is.
I think you ought to know. I want to thank you for knowing that it is Alanis Morissette. I listen to this album constantly now. In fact, last weekend my parents were here because they're fully vaccinated, and we played some music late night on the patio. And when we played You Ought to Know, my dad started rage screaming along with the song. He does not know the lyrics, but he thought it was so great because she was so angry, and he got a lot of his own inner rage out through song.
Beautiful.
I never got to see Alanis when I was younger. And then we were going to Vegas for our 10th wedding anniversary. And like 3 days before the trip, Chris was like, are we going to see Alanis while we're there? And I was like, Alanis who? Like, you can't mean my Alanis. Like that we must be talking about somebody else who I don't know. And he was like, Alanis Morissette. And I almost shit a brick. I ran and got my computer. I bought us tickets right away. And I was like, if I had been in the same city as Alanis Morissette and had not bought tickets and gone to see her show, I would never have forgiven myself. I'm still kind of annoyed that Chris was like so nonchalant about it. Like,
hey, do you want to maybe?
Anyway, it was a great show. The amount of Birkenstocks and flannel shirts on the women alone were so worth it. She opened with All I Really Want, which is, I think, her best song of all time. And yeah, it was great. And then last year, we were supposed to fly to Hawaii, and she was going to be playing at the Hollywood Bowl the day before we left. And I was trying to finagle all these different ways that we could go and like drive to LA and then see the show and then fly to Hawaii late and all this stuff. And then the pandemic happened, which I kind of feel was a blessing in this way, because now it means that when she goes back on tour, I can buy the tickets to the show and then plan everything else in my life around that.
Okay.
She's going back on tour, and she's doing like the I don't know where she's playing down south, but where did you see her in Vegas?
At the Palm.
That's where I saw her? At the Pearl Concert Theater inside the Palm? Yeah. You're looking for the show now, aren't you?
No, I'm ready.
I thought you were
writing down my notes because I don't want to forget anything.
No,
when did you see her?
I saw her maybe 2 years ago.
So we were at the same show.
You think so? Were we?
Was it September of 2018?
I can't remember. I think she did too. Did she just have her baby, or she was like 6 or 7 months pregnant?
No, she was not pregnant. At least not that I could tell. She was sick. She said, "We're going to have to help us hit the high notes," and we did not have to help her hit the high notes, even though she wasn't feeling well.
I saw her in Bakersfield with Tori Amos.
Oh, I love that.
At the Centennial Garden. But I definitely want to see her again, because she's touring with Liz Phair and Garbage are the opening acts, so you can't beat that. Okay, my number one has already been mentioned, but Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club.
Right.
Oh, God, Run Baby Run. She was born in November 1963, the day Aldous Huxley died. Aldous Huxley died the same day JFK was assassinated.
Yeah.
So That's like kind of like being born like no one cares because something else just huge happened.
Oh,
You know, leaving Las Vegas, Mister, take this winning hand and make it win. God, strong enough. Lie to me. I promise. I'll believe.
I love Strong Enough.
Yeah, the Nana song where she just calls out all of the stuff that would eventually be called out later on in the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
She was calling it out in 19. What is this?
93.
1993? Yeah, 93. Um, and of course, I Shall Believe finished the album off. But it's such a great record, and I've seen her live. I've seen her so many times in concert. She smiled at me once
Aw.
in concert because like we were like right there, and I was like singing every word to every song, and like yelling marriage proposals, and then she smiled and like she smiled, and I called my best friend last night, and I was like, "Hey, do you remember when Sheryl Crow smiled at me?" And she's like, "Yes, I remember when Sheryl Crow smiled at you."
So are we supposed to be setting you up with Natalie or Cheryl?
You know what? I'm gonna play it safe. I think I'd rather date Natalie.
Okay.
Yeah, Cheryl seems
sorry,
like
Cheryl.
Cheryl seems like a love him and leave him.
Fair.
Yeah,
Good for her.
yeah. So I want something lasting. So Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music
I
Club.
love it.
All right, so here's the hard part. Okay. Well, it might be easy because Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club and Alanis Morissette, both those albums got mentioned twice.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like those are going to be our 1 and 2. Like it might be the argument as to what's number 1 and 2. But I really feel that, okay, so Sarah Mclaughlin got mentioned by me and by Allison.
I think she's got to be on there.
But which?
Yeah, maybe number 3. I don't know.
But which Sarah album? I almost feel like Surfacing got mentioned more than Fumbling.
I think I definitely know more songs from Surfacing.
And I'm okay with that. Okay, so all right, so number 3. Okay, so number 3 is gonna be Sarah with Surfacing.
Yeah.
Now we've got 2 slots left.
You don't have to guess any of mine.
And Garbage.
What about? Okay, look.
I feel Cranberries. I don't know.
I like. Okay, so I was gonna say the Cranberries, and what about one of the country artists?
Yeah.
Like, what if like the Dix? Okay, what if it's like number 5 is the Dixie Chicks Fly. Number 4 is I don't know which Cranberries. And then 2 and 1, who's 2 and okay? So are we cool with like the Dixie Chicks Fly is number 5? The Cranberries we got to set, and what we got to settle is like which Cranberries. Let's do that right now. Which Cranberries? The first one or the second one? The second one seems to be like when they blew up, but the first one is I think a better album, but I don't know.
So that's where, so I think that the first one, because it has Linger, it has Dreams. Mm-hmm. The second one has Zombie, which is what a lot of people know, especially because that band did a remake of it a couple years ago.
But the first one, right?
Yeah. No, that's the second one.
No, but okay, so which one are you leaning towards? Are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards everybody else is doing
the first one.
I can't wait. Yeah.
I'm okay with
Is Linger on that album?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm aboard.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's everyone else is doing it.
Once we sorry, go ahead.
There's a Cranberries live in Paris full concert on YouTube, and it's from the end of this tour. Where is it? I was like, I could see it on the screen. It's from the end of this tour. So they are so strong, so solid, and the crowd is just so into it. Like if you ever just want to kick back with a bottle of wine and watch a full concert, it's
I
on
do.
YouTube. It's free.
Okay.
And it is them at their strongest. Okay.
The Walsh karaoke hour, Sarah.
I already write. That's why I'm taking all these notes so that I have stuff later to be like, we got to listen to this. We got to listen to that.
Who's number one? Who's number two? I'm gonna say, oh fuck. I would say that Cheryl is number two and Alanis is number one, but I'll hear any argument.
I agree.
I wholeheartedly agree. I was just getting on my calculator to do averages of like, okay, well, if Jesse picked this one is 2 and then what's the average? But anyway, if there's not going to be any argument, then I will not do math and I will say that I co-sign this.
I love that you were going to bring out your calculator though. Like what a strategy to determine.
You cannot argue with math. Okay.
No.
Yeah. You can. I mean, you can, but you can't.
Right.
All right, so number 5, the Dixie Chicks with Fly. Number 4, the Cranberries. Everyone else is doing it, so why don't me? Number 3, Sarah McLaughlin, Surfacing. Not fumbling, sorry, Sarah. Natalie Merchant got left off.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, how are you going to explain this to her?
No, I think you guys.
You know what? That's a good point. I think
right
I think we have to keep the Cranberries. But I think we could get rid of the Dixie Chicks if we need to.
I think so too. I think that they're 90s, but they're not as true to the genre as Natalie Merchant. So I'm willing to take one for the team, Jesse.
Same.
You're taking one for Jesse. Thank you. Thank you for being a good wingman there, Allison.
You got it.
All right, so number 5 is Natalie Merchant's Tiger Lily.
Yes.
Number 4, the Cranberries. Everyone else is doing it. God, this is a great list. Number 3, Sarah McLaughlin, Surfacing. Number 2 is Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music Club. And number 1, Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill.
This proud of us.
I love this.
This is such a great list, man. But I think, okay, who owned this era, Alanis or Cheryl?
What do you mean?
Like who do you think? Like, well, I guess we said it right. Alanis was number.
She's my forever number 1.
Yeah.
I had Cheryl.
You know what? I loved Uninvited. That whole Unplugged album was so good, but Uninvited is such a sad song where she's just like, I'm not asking for this attention, like it's so great. Thank you guys. Go for it.
I have a final question for everyone.
All right, what is
it? Which song from this era would you choose for your karaoke song?
Oh. Okay, hold on. I have all these things up. Let me look. I feel like I can't do Alanis justice.
I have thrown my voice out trying to do Zombie, like driving down the road and Zombie comes.
Zombie.
I think I'm Paranoid by Garbage.
Oh, good.
Version 2.0 album, because then I would really kill my voice.
I'm Cranberries Zombie all the way, Jesse, and I would destroy I can't, but I would destroy myself to try.
Oh, dude, that's what I love about you, Allison. You're gonna take it for the team.
It's for your art.
Oh.
Yeah. When karaoke is back, I'm doing it.
I would go. I'd do Alanis You Ought to Know karaoke.
A good one. You'd be like my dad last weekend.
Yeah. I would dad rock the fuck out of man. This was hard. It was so hard, but this is so rewarding here in the end. Thank you guys for doing this. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna listen to this music all day long now. Well, I've been listening to this music for 25 years now, and it doesn't get old. The Lilith Festival was something great. It's too bad it finished, but it was 3 years, 97, 98, and 99. And I tried to make a list of every artist that performed on it. It was just all over the place. Yeah. But that first Lilith Festival, Tracy Chapman was on like in the middle, and she blew everyone away because she was like the most veteran of all of those acts at that point. And but all right. Thank you so much.
For letting me invite myself on.
Anytime.
And thanks for letting me ride Sarah's coattails like usual.